Hey guys, welcome back. Altcoin Connoisseur here, and welcome to Altcoin Hopium number 2. If you are feeling down about altcoins, about the crypto market in general, I'm going to give you guys some realistic hopium that should not only just make us feel hopeful simply because we're struggling, but make us feel hopeful in the sense that I'm not going to sell out the worst possible moment. I'm going to stick this through. I'm going to make good decisions. I'm going to DCA down. I'm going to use appropriate risk, and then I'm going to make the best decision. So sometimes when markets are just bleeding and the sentiment is the worst, sometimes you just need a friend on the internet to keep you level-headed, and that is my job here. So this is not financial advice, but if you like the idea of altcoin hopium, please hit subscribe, and let's get on with it. So this is the Bitcoin all-time chart in log scaling, and we have a couple of things on here. We have number 1, a Bollinger Band, and then number 2, we have a 200-week simple moving average. So during each prior cycle, we have extremely negative expansion of the lower end of the Bollinger Band. What does this indicate? Well, the simple moving average, or the middle line of the Bollinger Band, represents, well, a simple moving average. The upper Bollinger Band represents 2 standard deviations above that price, while the negative Bollinger Band represents 2 standard deviations below. So every time we have gotten a euphoric cycle in Bitcoin, meaning we have upward price expansion, which we have had from 2011 to 2013, from 2015 to 2017, from 2019 to 2021, we have had extreme negative movement of that lower Bollinger Band. Some people are advocates of the 4-year cycle, and in terms of time length from Bitcoin tops to bottoms, we kind of have to start respecting that, because it has been the case that thus far it seems to have been playing out. On a previous video, I made the comment that from each cycle low to the top is roughly 1,065 days with 365 days of downward movement, and this cycle is actually repeating. But what we've been lacking from other cycles that defined it as a Bitcoin cycle or an altcoin cycle or a crypto cycle is this negative Bollinger Band expansion, and we simply haven't had that here. Some people equate this to diminishing returns or other factors similar to that, but I would like to disagree, and I'd like to disagree for some reasons I'm going to highlight in this video. So first of all, why should you remain hopeful here? Well, there's a few reasons. So number 1, Bitcoin is checking in with its 200-week moving average, and in past cycles, it likes to have the candle body check in with it, and then it likes to wick below it. So we can see here in 2011, candle body, wick below, maybe another one, wick below, comes right back up, shoots up. Same thing here in 2015, wick below, stays above, another wick below, shoots back up. Here in 2019, it actually just rests upon it, no wick. We get another little wick here in March of 2020 during the COVID scare. Massive expansion up. That was the last time, not the last time, but one of the times prior where we had a huge expansion. The last time we had a wick below the 200-week moving average. And during this time period, over 396 days, we had a 1,455% upward move. So for starters, for people who are calling for these 40K, 30K less targets, history is not on your side, right? Typically when we wick below this, upward moves and expansionary upward moves for not months, but possibly even years to come are following. Let's take a look at the last one. So this last one is really cool, and what I want to note here is, while yes, we spent some months below the 200-week moving average, we did something really unique here, and we touched the lower Bollinger Band. And this was the first time in Bitcoin's history that we've done that. And during this time period, even though we spent some time below this a 200-week moving average, in 639 days, Bitcoin went up 313%. So if you're starting to DCA into your positions at this point, would you say that's a bad trade? In my opinion, probably not. And if we were to look at specific altcoin charts, probably not, right? Here we are again, just breaching below ever so slightly. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Ever so slightly below the 200-week moving average, as we can see with this line right here. We're kissing the lower Bollinger Band, and price history has not only shown us that we probably not only hit this upper Bollinger Band, as we did back here, as we did numerous times in the past, but as we go up towards that upper Bollinger Band, it will go upwards as price goes up. So where is this upward Bollinger Band now? Meaning like a minimal, super bearish near term being in the next, I don't know, 6 to 12 months price target would be around its all-time high, around 125, 126, something like that. And we have confluence here. So confluence is another indicator that leads us to the same conclusion. So let's check it out. The liquidation heat map. So we're on the yearly for Bitcoin. And what I want to note here is that we have all this liquidity to the upside. So as I've noted before in prior videos, the lizard people, they're people who are super wealthy. They want to extract as much wealth from retail traders, people who long and short as humanly possible. They will manipulate price to liquidate them, meaning take their entire position. A fantastic example of this is during the October 10th liquidation. So prior to this, we can see we had a vast band of liquidity up here, a few $1 billion if you total it up, scoops that up, drops down violently to grab a few $1 billion down here. Now, what do we see at the upside? Basically all of our liquidity. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And this is on the yearly, so yeah, there could be more like short time frame, let's go, I don't know, for shits and gigs 3-day. Yeah, there could be, a little bit here, right? But even this band, even, let's go to the 2 week. All the major liquidity is above, right? So we're going to grab that. It's just a matter of when. So when we go back to the 1 year, right? And this isn't hopium. These are the most rich and evil people who suck the blood and life force out of humans. This is what they eat, right? So it's not hopium. It's hopium to deny the fact that they're going to grab this, right? Sits at around all-time high. Sits in confluence with this upper Bollinger Band, right? Let's keep going. Some other things that state that we didn't really reach our top, and this may be perhaps a, dare I say, super cycle, an elongated cycle. This is a crypto Bitcoin bull run index. So it basically covers a myriad of different indicators, including the Bitcoin price trends, market realized value to market value, short-term versus long-term holders, net unrealized profit and loss, a bunch of different things. Score of near 100, the market may be overheated, heated, and near 0, bear market bottom or something near the like. And what we see here is, despite Bitcoin's diminishing returns to this point, the CBBI gets near 100 or extremely close to it. 97. This one might have been 100 exactly. If I get the top. Very close, right? And this one doesn't really get near there at all. right? And this equates for diminishing returns. So, and what's interesting is we're at these levels right now, but yet Bitcoin is at its 200-week moving average. Bitcoin has all the liquidity above, right? Bitcoin on the power law is at absolute support. And I understand, look, I get it. Like, it doesn't touch the resistance band every time. And in fact, it has done it once, twice, 3 times out of, if you call this a cycle, 5, right? So like we don't have enough data to say that like we can't do this again. You know what I mean? But what we have had enough data to say is that, oh hey, it's held support, 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 support. And if you go down, there's been 0% of the time where Bitcoin has gone below this point on the power law chart. And again, this is support. A lot of these people who they're trend line experts, they're Ellioticians, right? You know, they give their own rationale. Oh, this bearish rising flag, this head and shoulders, this blah blah blah, right? And I mean, some of that can be very useful, true, but you're just ignoring 15 years of support, right? Doesn't make much sense. Some other reasons. Bitcoin total supply and loss. I went over this in my last long form video, but we have Bitcoin sitting at 10.8 million coins in loss. That's actually a record. So these are bear market low territories, despite the bear market low percentage drawdown. So one thing that I want to note is that we have these muted cycles, right? No Bollinger Band expansion. You know, we don't even hit fair value, or we barely do. We never get to our bull run index. Why is this? My main thing here is the US M2 money supply. So from this period of February 22nd to roughly February 2024, I mean a few months off, right? We experienced negative money printing in the US following COVID, which we had to take a long break, and not even a break, a negative break. This is unprecedented. When have we done this before? Virtually never. Okay, after the great financial crisis for a bit, maybe we went down 0.58% over 276 days. Here we went down 4.52%. So a massive reduction in the percentage of money being printed in the United States over 579 days, right? And I'll show you later in the video that I believe a lot of risk assets, and not only crypto, have been stifled because of this lack of money printing. And we're only starting to resume the trend that was there before. Never mind the parabolic money printing that took place during COVID, right? So another thing, United States Purchasing Managers Index. So it's a survey of how, you know, how well businesses are doing in the United States overall. And from this 2021 peak, and if we were to align this to money printing, ever since they stopped money printing, the Purchasing Managers Index has been down, and it hasn't been to its lowest levels, but even at its lowest levels, right, it spikes down, it comes back up, it spikes down, it comes back up, but it never stays below 54 for a prolonged period of time. And we've just done this for several years, right? And right now we're finally just starting to pick up and get to 54, which is expansion, and our altcoins are lagging a little bit. But there's times where, and by the way, this is the others chart, there's times where it's lagged before. So down, shoots back up, only in the, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only in 6 or 7, meaning 6 or 7 months later, do altcoins actually catch up, right? So we could be seeing that here. Copper to gold index. So we have copper to gold index. We have the ISM on top, and when the copper to gold index goes up, crypto goes up. So we can see in this period right here, right? And again, this is a review, but sometimes we need a little bit of a review when times are feeling tough, right? Bitcoin breaching 60K, some of our altcoins bleeding out. And I'm going to make a specific altcoin video coming up later on this week. But sometimes just a reminder that the macro picture looks really good for us, even though it hasn't materialized yet, is a good reminder, right? So 2017, 2018, copper gold peaks up, ISM peaks up, again, confluence, right? Crypto does well. Dips off, crypto, look at that, struggles. Copper to gold down, ISM down, crypto down. Look at this. Copper to gold creeps up, ISM creeps up, crypto creeps up. And it actually follows it a few months later. It lags a little bit. Look at that. It lags for a good several months here. Several months before crypto hits its peak, right? In terms of others. Drops back down, drops back down. And you could make the argument that actually others has maintained a lot of strength. Others, and I mean, I know going over this ISM PMI chart or whatever, that's not, it's on different price scaling, so it doesn't matter, right? But I mean, you can make the case that relatively speaking, right, during these little peaks, tiny little peak in copper gold, tiny little peak in ISM, altcoins take off, right? I mean, not even here, right? Tiny peak in ISM, nothing in copper to gold. Altcoins set its 2024 high, right? Little tiny peak right here in copper to gold, right? Barely anything in ISM. Altcoins do a little move, right? And then now we're just, look at this. Copper to gold creeping up, ISM creeping up. Again, it's taken several months in the past for this to catch up. So there's no reason to believe that you should sell all your crypto, all your altcoins here, right? And I know others took a dip. It's probably the case too that ISM took a little bit of a dip, or copper gold took a little bit of a dip, whatever. Probably gonna come right back up, right? Went from probably 197 to what is it now? Like one. Let's go to others. I have others on here. Where are you? 162. Okay, so a little bit of a dip, whatever. Not the biggest deal, right? But we're getting the main picture. Another thing that we can see here is, this is from Ben Cohen's site. So if you're not familiar with Ben Cohen, he's probably the biggest YouTuber in the crypto space, 1 million subscribers. And he's talking about Bitcoin social risk. So you look at this blue line right here. This is the Bitcoin price. And then the red line is the interest from retail. So interest from retail encapsulates Coinbase apps downloads, YouTube subscribers, YouTube views, Twitter followers, posts, things of that nature, right? A total encompassing, right? And what we can see here is, even as Bitcoin makes its peak in early of, and it's a YouTube video, so I can't like scroll here because it's unique to his site only, but nonetheless it's worth sharing. As Bitcoin makes its peak here, social interest is going down. Why is that? It's because altcoins are going down. A lot of people think that, and he even says this on this channel, not to disparage Ben, but, oh, people are sick of the scams. They're sick of pump and dumps. And that's true. I'm sick of scams and I'm sick of pump and dumps myself, but retail interest follows price, not the other way around. It doesn't follow narrative, it follows price, right? So like when retail interest is going up, it's because Bitcoin is going up parabolically. When Bitcoin is going up, retail interest goes up parabolically. Bitcoin never went up parabolically. It vastly underperformed previous cycles and is now sitting near lows from its inception, right? From prior bear market lows. And one of the reasons you could argue that why Bitcoin never made a euphoric run was, again, right? M2, ISM staying flat for a long period of time, copper to gold dropping precipitously, right? And the case that I want to make is a lot of people feel like, oh, crypto's dead and it's a piece of shit and it's done. And people feel like this is the only asset that has responded to these macro factors in this way, when in reality, there are several more. So let's take a look at such examples. So we have copper to gold ratio here, and then we have Boeing right here. So we have Boeing making a really nice run in 2018, around the time that the copper and gold ratio peaked, right? Drops off, dumps down, comes back up, another local high, so maybe showing some weakness here, right? Coming back down again, going up, and then actually showing recent strength. So if you were to say that now, to be fair, Boeing has some reasons that it might be over. I'm not going to get into that, right? Boeing's a business and it's been making some very poor decisions, but nonetheless, right, you can't say that Boeing is over that just because it's been consolidating, and in fact, it's been consolidating for nearly 10 years now, right? And once this ratio just shoots up, look at how drastic this downturn has been. Once it shoots up, Boeing's probably going to go up and explode. It's a risk asset, right? Here's another one, KB Home, since 2026. I know it's been up and to the right since 2011, but it's maintained the same price since 2006. And only now, look at this recent green candle with the copper to gold ratio going up. You know what I mean? And this doesn't mean it's over. It's probably just undervalued because we've had a lack of innovation due to the lack of money printing, due to the lack of, manager sentiment in the United States, right? Regions Financial Corp. Look at this. 2007, right, was its high. Look at this big crash as the copper to gold ratio went down. Perfectly aligned, right? And again, showing really good strength, nearly creeping up its all-time highs as the copper to gold has been going down. What if we get a good reverse, like up here, retest, come up, right? It's going to expand quite a bit. Haverty Furniture Companies. This was a struggle to find, but again, since 2004, fairly flat. Doesn't mean it's over, right? This actually makes Ethereum look like look at Ethereum. This is like, Ethereum is a way better chart than these companies, right? And everyone's like, oh, Ethereum's over. It's a piece of shit. Altcoins are a piece of shit. It's over, right? Look, copper to gold goes up. It dips. Ethereum goes down. Didn't go down as much as copper to gold did, right? Spikes again. Makes a new all-time high. Drops below where it was down here, and Ethereum's just chilling, right? Probably to expand upward, and I want the big moves, you know what I mean? Like, yes, there's lots of intraday things with altcoins. Yes, altcoins specifically have been brutalized. I'm going to make a video this week talking about percentages from their highs to their lows and where they recovered, and I'm going to go talk about averages. It's going to be a really interesting video. But nonetheless, right, Ethereum looks pretty dang good here, right? Let's look at total, right? This is actually total ES, so this is total minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we have a couple things going on here. So we have our 200-week moving average, which Bitcoin has tapped. Total ES is sitting at it. We have a huge demand zone in this area. We have a rising trend line that has held support since its inception. And then from our prior cycle high to the last cycle high, it reached above the 2.618, and we just barely snuck above the 1. Right? And we know that, let me expand upon this a little bit. We know that diminishing returns, they can't happen forever, because there's people calling for targets of 20K, 30K. Let's go to linear for a second. There we go. All right. Targets for, 40K, 35, 30, right? What is it going to be? Are you going to have this deep bear market and diminishing returns like we've said we're going to have? Or are you going to have a shallower bear market and more returns, right? It can't be both. You know what I mean? And then heck, you know what? Even let's say it does do. Can I get a squiggle? I like squiggles. Sure, let's say it does this. Yeah, right. Are you just gonna have diminishing returns and then go like this and then like this and then it's done? I don't see it. I don't see it at all, right? It's probably gonna do fucking, sorry for swearing, but it's probably gonna do like this and then something like that, right? I'm not a good artist, but it's probably actually going to be a lot more extreme than that. That was actually that was actually terrible. I should get sued by the squiggle community for that one, right? But it just doesn't make sense. You know, you can't have these 30 to 40K targets and then logarithmically the diminishing returns occur. You know what I mean? Look at, I don't have the VWAP on here. I don't have these bars actually. I have to pay extra for it, but like, you know, you can just see, like, look at, can you imagine the amount of price action that's happening in here? The amount of support that's happening in here? How could you realistically think it's going to go much lower? Right? And say I'm coping, right? I think the cope, you know what the real cope is? Coping is like you think you're going to buy Bitcoin here or like here. That's the cope, right? You think you're going to buy, you know, you think you're going to buy Ethereum. You know what's cope? You're going to buy Ethereum at what? $700. That's cope, right? These people are pissed off because they've lost nearly all their money in crypto, right? So, you know, we have enough indicators, right? We have enough macro factors. I mean, look at the liquidity above here. It's all above, right? The bull run never happened. Support on the power law. Supply and loss. Money took a long break. Risk assets stopped, not only because of the copper to gold ratio, but the copper to gold ratio probably went down because of that long money printing break. And they're holding up good. These charts are looking fucking good. They're looking like they want to go up. These charts are looking like they want to go up. They're looking like they want to go up. They're looking like they want to go up. Oh, hey, here's Ethereum. Looking like they want to go up. And it's probably at the best discount that you're going to get for a while, right? So, I don't know. That's my macro stance. I hope you enjoyed that. I know this is kind of a little bit unhinged, I would say, but you know, I'm passionate about the subject. You know, I think one thing that kind of irks me is that you have all these people who are bullish up here, especially these Elliott waveiticians, whatever you want to call them. You know, they're bullish up here, and then they're bearish down here. Like, that sounds like the wrong thing. Like, and to admit, like, yeah, I was bullish up here. Why was I bullish up here? Because we never had an altcoin cycle, you know, like in the past, Bollinger Band, once again, like Bitcoin chart, Bollinger Band, negative expansion, 2021, Bollinger Band, negative expansion, right? You know, we've only, on the others chart, we've checked in with the the lower Bollinger Band a few times. You did it once in this area here, proceeded to have a massive run. We're doing it again here. And the Bollinger Bands are tight, probably to pursue this a massive run. In this prior cycle, we got up from the 2018 to 2021. We got above the 4236. Where's the 4236 now? $205 trillion just for others, right? Even the 2.618, 1.21 trillion. I could see easily others going to 8 billion to 1.3-ish trillion or above, right? And the reason why I say above is because, you know, look at these other risk assets that haven't done shit. Imagine if we get actual expansion. So that's it. I want to make a more specific altcoin video next, because I know you guys don't trade the copper to gold ratio. There's no others ETF. Most of you guys don't have Ethereum. Most of you guys don't have Bitcoin, but we need to look at these things because they lead the market. So I'm going to get into that soon. If you like this video, just show me some love. Hit a like, hit a subscribe, put some chart requests, talk shit, whatever. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.